Tillman's Body Talk. So today we're gonna go over the shoulder and the most common stretches and how to pick which one. First thing I'm gonna do is look at shoulder motion. So I'll have her lift both her arms up, go up as high as you can. And then I wanna provide a little bit of overpressure. If it hurts, it shouldn't hurt. And that tells me that there's an impingement or typically a tight biceps. The other thing I want to look at is external rotation at 90, so you can see like she's pretty flexible there. And reach up behind her back, turn this way for me please. And I want to see how high she goes. Got an extension here. You can look at this one, see how high it goes, that looks great. Now let's, I can also try to bring it across. And I'm trying to get it to see if I can get it under her chin, which I do. What I do is flexion, shoulder flexion. So she's gonna show you how to do it on her own first. She's gonna lift her arm and she'll push it with the other arm. And you can see you wanna get it as far back behind the head if you can, as you can. She would do about 10, 6 to 8 times a day. She starts really push, 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 push. Again, it should hurt and then it comes back and it's gone. That stretch should be gone. If it doesn't hurt, then you're good at that motion and you probably don't need to do that stretch. Now, how do I progress that stretch? I add a little overpressure, a little weight to it, and I can do that with either a dresser or a countertop. She'll put both hands up here. She's gonna use her body as weight and she'll bend her head and she'll go down, but you see how she keeps her head straight? She doesn't tuck it under, and that's gonna help her not impinge from the neck or the shoulder and come up, and she'll do a couple. But you can see as she does this, it's a little bit more force than just grabbing and pushing. And so you get a band. She's got a band, she comes up, she typically will walk out till it's tight, she'll feel it stretch, and then she'll bring to my hand, and then she'll go back. And each time she does that, she's slowly letting it go back. And again, you would do about 10 to 12 reps, maybe every other day, 2 or 3 times a week, and you're just trying to help strengthen that tendon and help remodel that tissue in its new direction or in the new range of motion. Let's say your deficit was ER or this motion at 90 and you couldn't do that. We're gonna show you how to stretch that. Typically what you wanna do is get it right at shoulder level, put it on a surface, maybe a dresser or a bar, and then you start pushing, push, 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 and relax. And again, push, 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 push. And again, if this was your deficit, if this is where you lost most of your motion, you'd wanna do this 10 times, 6 to 8 times a day. If there's any pain, it should be pain at the end range, and then it should come off and go away immediately. Now, how do I progress this stretch? Again, after doing this for about a week or 2 weeks, you want to progress it. You can add eccentrics because that's going to help stretch the tissue more, remodel and strengthen the tendon. So how do I do that? I put a band here, okay, and I'm going to hold it. And she's gonna slowly lower it down, and then she'll come back up, and then slowly lower it down. And she's not gonna do a lot of reps of these. She may do one set at 10 to 12 reps, probably every other day, to help remodel the tendon and strengthen and further stretch the tissue. The next stretch, let's say she couldn't reach up behind her back. We call that FIR, functional internal rotation. And what we want to see is her hand get up here. How do you do that on your own? You get a belt or some kind of strap and you start pulling it up. You want the knuckles to really go along the spine. You don't want it too far over. And she'll go back down and then she'll go up again. If she was tight, she would do this and she would do it 10 times, 6 to 8 times a day to help remodel the tissue. Again, it should hurt at the top, but then when you bring it down, the pain should go away. And what she's gonna find is throughout a couple of days or sessions, she's gonna get higher and higher and higher. So again, how do I progress it after I've stretched it for about a week and a half to 2 weeks? Then I'm gonna add a band to add eccentrics to help take it a little bit further. How do I do that with FIR or functional internal rotation? Is I'll get her a green band, okay? She's gonna hold it with the other hand, and then she'll take it up until she feels a stretch, and then she'll bring it down, and then she'll let it pull up. You can also tie it to a bar or have something hanging that's pretty sturdy that you can tie the band to and back up to it and pull it, but you can see she's keeping her knuckles on her spine. She's slowly coming up. She would do about 10 to 12 reps every other day, 2 or 3 times a week to help remodel that tissue. Now let's see this one. So she turns, she gets tight about right there. The first stretch, the first level is just using a stick and pushing it up yourself, because she can go up as high as she can. You can see her hand is palm down. The reason why is when your palm is up, you can see it activates the bicep. So as she goes up, go up, 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 she stretches this and it gets a little bit of the pec as well. Progress, what you want to do is you want to take the shoulder back and you want to find something right about shoulder height. Again, palm is up, and then I can have her spread her feet and she can squat gently until she feels a stretch. Again, you don't start here, you progress to here. This is after about a week and a half of doing 10 reps, 6 to 8 times a day with a stick, but you can see how this is a much more progressive stretch. After you get motion, you want to add eccentrics to help strengthen the tendon and also get a little bit more stretch. So she walks out till she feels it, and then she pulls and gets it to right just above body level, and then lets it go back up. And then again. Now these you don't want to do all day long. These are about one set of 10 to 12 reps, maybe twice a day. Seeing horizontal adduction, or this stretch where you can't reach over and it can't get under your throat, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start by getting up on a wall, you lean, and then you lean into it. As she leans into it, you can see that it starts stretching, it starts pushing it towards her throat. She's gonna typically feel a big stretch here on the outside of the shoulder. She would start with this, she would do it again 10 times, 6 to 8 times a day. But how to add eccentrics to horizontal adduction is she gets a band, she walks out till she feels it pulling, and then she's gonna pull her elbow not all the way to about right there, and then let it slowly go back as far as she can. It's gonna pull her, and then she'll pull this again. And on this one, you'll do 10 to 12 reps, probably 2 or 3 times a week to help remodel that tendon. You look what we did, we went through the shoulder at the beginning and tested all the motions. And then we started to show you different stretches in each motion. Now, what determines your motion is where you're the tightest. Work on your deficits, okay? So what you have to understand is you wouldn't do every stretch. You would just do the one that you're lacking, and then progress it with load, and then progress it with eccentrics. That's the shoulder, and I want you to be able to understand how to progress stretches, how to take them further, how to add eccentrics to get that maximal use of the shoulder and get it back to function. That's Tillman's Body Talk on shoulder and shoulder stretches. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe and share it to your friends.